All right, to the coleslaw recipe. This is a fun one. It's an apple coleslaw, really, really easy to put together. It's got some great crunch and some great flavors and a wonderful homemade dressing and some nuts in it. Speaking of crunch, so I'm going to start out with some pecans and I'm going to toast them. These are just pecan halves and I'm going to put them in a dry skillet, let them carefully toast over the heat here, but I don't want to burn them, so that's the key thing. I just want to cook them till they're nice and toasted. Okay, now homemade dressing, and this is really you know, so key, I think, when it comes to making great salads and great coleslaw. And this is such an easy recipe. 1 cup of mayonnaise. Then we've got a few tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is one of those you know, things I always have in my pantry. It's really great in making lots of different salad recipes. So I collect different oils and vinegars, and apple cider, balsamic, red wine, just white distilled vinegar. Those are some that I always have on hand, and when you have those, you can make homemade dressings in no time. Then I've got about 3 tablespoons of sugar, a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's it. See how easy that is? Abby, what's your favorite fish fry? Abby's our producer. Oh, Abby loves Van Abel's in Hollandtown, and we're going to be taking you there a little later on during the show. So, coleslaw is one of those things that I think it's best actually made, unlike most salads, you know, tossed salads are really not. You can, you know, chop up the lettuce and get a lot of the other things in the salad ready, but you really shouldn't dress the salad until right before serving in most cases. Not coleslaw. Coleslaw is one of those that's really better if you make it the morning of or the night before, and it really kind of soaks in there with the flavor. Great flavor. Okay. Make sure I don't burn the nuts there. You know me. Got just a regular head of cabbage. I'm going to just remove a couple of the outer leaves. Did you know, too, I don't know if you knew this, but, you know, we grow so much cabbage in this neck of the woods. Bear Creek, Shiocton area, man, I mean, it is just cabbage capital. We do almost the whole world's sauerkraut is actually produced right in our neck of the woods, which a lot of people just don't know that. So I'm just going to take off the core. You could certainly cheat a little bit and buy bagged coleslaw mix, but I really like the flavor of just the regular coleslaw or the cabbage and cutting it up yourself. I just think you get some really nice, pretty colors, and it's not too big of a deal, and it's very inexpensive to just do your own cabbage. Sometimes I'll use a food processor just to get it really nice and fine, but other times it's like, oh, one more dish to wash. So I'm just going to do this with a knife. This is going to make a nice big batch. This is perfect not only for fish fries, but if you have a potluck to go to and you really want to wow everybody with a different slaw recipe, this one's a winner. Like I say, it makes a nice big batch. How are my nuts doing over here? Doing good. Now the fun part about this is not just the nuts, but we're going to put some apple in here. This was a big head of cabbage, so that might do it. No, got plenty of dressing, so we'll continue to just chunk it up. What else do I like about a good fish fry? You know, the community fish fries are really nice because everybody talks to each other, and those are really fun where, you know, everybody kind of knows your name. The VFW halls and Knights of Columbus, those type of things. Those church fish fries are always wonderful too, so if you know any of those that are really good, please let me know. I usually, when it comes to the sides, I usually try them all. I'm like, well, let's see, gotta have French fries, but then I think I'll have the side of potato salad too, especially if it's homemade. And the coleslaw, it's all good.
Have you ever had lawyers?
No. And the rye bread, gotta have the rye bread. And some of the places put the onion. Yeah, slab of onion, right. Can you tell we're getting hungry? Oh, What were you saying, Ann?
When I go to Merrick's, I get lawyers.
When Ann says when she goes to Merrick's, which is a legendary fish fry place in Green Bay, you get what?
Lawyers.
Lawyers.
What kind of fish?
I've never heard of lawyers.
White fish.
She says it's a white fish. Good, I'll have to try there. Let's go. Let's check it out. So you see, this is plenty of dressing to do one big whole head of cabbage. Now we're going to throw some onion in. I like to use red onion. I think it looks really pretty. You can slice it, dice it. It's up to you. I love to serve this salad not only when I'm doing fish, but just even with burgers or brats. I'm going to get my nuts off because they look like they'll continue to toast in the pan, just like when you bring cookies out of the oven on a cookie sheet. They'll continue to cook on that cookie sheet. Same idea with nuts. So I always pull them off before, a little before they're done, because they'll continue to toast up in the pan. Now, any kind of apple you have, I usually have a couple of apples just kind of hanging out in that bottom drawer of my refrigerator, and you can slice them, you can dice them, but I thought we'd use a couple of different color apples, and also this will give it some different flavor. So we'll use some Granny Smith, and then just a red apple, just Rayburn or whatever. I like a nice crunchy one is key. So we'll leave them pretty big here. Joan Willems, our newsroom secretary, is a big fan of this coleslaw. It's one of her favorites. Okay. All right, we're just about done. Here's a little apple for you to eat. You know what they say about apples? That's right. Apple a day keeps the doctor away.
They're also nature's toothbrush.
Ann says they're nature's toothbrush, huh? I did not know that one. That's a new one. All right, Ingo or pecans. And then just to kind of freshen it up and just give it some little more flavor, I've just got some flat leaf parsley, also called Italian parsley. And I'm just going to give that a rough chop. I think coleslaw is one of those things that can really get boring after a while, and especially if it's not homemade, it's just really not that great. It's one of those things that you kind of skip over. This is one of those side dishes. No one's going to skip over this one. People are going to be asking for the recipe. It's a little bit sweet with the apples, but it's tangy, and it's got that, just the dressing with the apple cider vinegar. It's got some crunch in it, and it's just really a winner. Now again, this is best covered and in the refrigerator. Just sits all day. And then the flavors really get in here. So there you go. My apple coleslaw with pecans, a little red onion, and that wonderful creamy apple dressing. Throw a few extra pecans on top. Recipes on the website. You can also pick up this recipe at any area Festival Foods.